It's the final day of the Democratic Convention here in Charlotte, and we're checking in with delegates through this Google Plus Hangout. Quiana McKenzie, let's start with you from Ames, Iowa, at your first convention. What did you think about last night, former President Bill Clinton's speech and the energy inside the arena?
I felt like he hit the ball out of the park into another state. Like, it was just an amazing speech. And I think he made a great case of why we should reelect President Obama. I think he was able to attack every one of the Republican points against him, and really just reinforce why President Barack Obama deserves another 4 years, and why he's already been an amazing president, and why we know he'll be an amazing president for the next 4 years.
Well, let's go to Rick Dietz, who's from Bloomington, Indiana. Rick, what's your experience been like so far this week?
It's been an excellent experience. I've never been to a convention before, so this is a first for me. Certainly our state conventions are nice, but this is a totally different scale, totally off the chart.
What do you go home with after this? We haven't heard from President Obama himself yet, or Vice President Biden, but what sort of an energy or vibe do you think you'll leave here with?
Well, I think the energy level is a key thing, and I think that's something that all of my fellow delegates and attendees will bring back. But also the message we've heard from elected leaders from across the entire United States, from the bottom of the ballot to the top, about what their priorities are, and that'll help us craft our message to our local voters in our own communities.
Right, Shawn Wooden, Council President in the city of Hartford. How has your week been going? What were your big takeaways from last night? Either the speeches or the roll call votes, anything else?
The speeches were absolutely phenomenal. With First Lady Michelle Obama, she was great Monday. Last night, President Clinton, he did exactly what we know he does, making the case for the Democratic Party, making the case for this president, reminding us about jobs, the economy, what the Democrats have done over a period of decades of being the party of job growth. And that was wonderful. Also, Elizabeth Warren, absolutely phenomenal. And I think, our message is that we're the party of choice. We're the party of women. It was a great night last night, and I think the energy level is getting exactly where we need it to be, and that's something that I know a lot of the pundits have talked about, but we are there, as we say, fired up and ready to go.
Exactly. And if I could just jump in, I think it's been really interesting because everyone keeps talking about the enthusiasm gap, but you cannot tell that there's an enthusiasm gap when you're on that convention floor and you hear all of the people there shouting, yelling about how excited that we are, that our president is up for re-election, and that we know he'll win in November. So there is an enthusiasm gap. We are excited about him. We're excited about where our party is going, and we know that we'll have a fabulous future ahead.
Alison Morano from Wesley Chapel, Florida, the lead whip of the Florida delegates. Tell us about how things are going for you and your delegation this week.
Well, they're going great. We have the third largest delegation here at the convention. Last night, we turned in 300 votes to nominate the president for the second term. And people are really, they're fired up and ready to go. This morning, we heard from David Plouffe in our breakfast, who is the lead strategist for the Obama campaign. And he came in and he said they feel great about Florida. We're the road to the White House. When Florida is called, you know which way this election is headed, because, Mitt Romney cannot win without Florida. We have a few paths, but Mitt Romney cannot win without Florida. So he said that they're very, very confident that they're going to win Florida. The campaign feels really good. We heard from Cory Booker in our delegation breakfast. We've heard from a lot of people that we've then seen on stage, and our delegation is just, they're thrilled and cannot wait to go home, start knocking on doors, and start phone calling.
Well, we heard when the First Lady spoke the other night, people were saying 4 more years, and she said, well, with your help. She had a response to that. So what do you do now? Besides taking this enthusiasm that we're hearing from Quiana and others here in Charlotte, how do you take that back home?
Well, I think that we've got a lot of Floridians already engaged. They're on the ground in Florida already. Even coming here, I was talking to David Plouffe this morning because they've been on the ground in Florida since April 2011. And we're up to hundreds of people working for the campaign and thousands of volunteers. 84 offices are open across Florida, including a lot of areas that traditionally we do not go into. They're very Republican strongholds, and we don't always go there. But they are opening offices in from Pensacola all the way down to Key West. So we're already on the ground, and this is just the bump we need for the next 60 days to re-energize everybody, and they'll all go back. 370 people going back in, fired up, is what we're looking at.
Tommy Johnson of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. We met you a couple of days ago in one of our Google Plus Hangouts, and you talked about how concerned you are about veterans issues. So, Tommy, are you hearing veterans issues talked about, and do you hope to hear more of that tonight from the Vice President and the President?
I'm sure we will hear more from the President and Vice President. Yesterday, we had a veterans and military.
And Tommy, let me just pause you there. Take your finger actually off your mic and put it like an inch lower, and we'll be able to hear you better. And then, yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yesterday, the Veterans and Military Families Caucus met. The room was packed. It was standing room only. There were people that can't get in. It was just a phenomenal meeting. Vice President Biden was there. So this administration is making veterans issues a key element. It's wonderful because if everybody remembers, the Republicans pretty much ignored the military and the veterans in Tampa.
Tonight is really all about veterans. I don't know if you know that. It's going to be focused on veterans, tonight's speeches and the presentations.
And Alison, is that important to you?
Yeah, it is. We have, where I live, like you said, in Wesley Chapel, Pasco County has the largest population of veterans in the entire state, and it's one of the largest in the country. But we've got a lot of Truman people here from the Truman Project that are representing from Florida, and our leadership in the Truman Project. We've got a lot of Congress people, the Democrats, that just all day long they try to help veterans and try to make sure those 125,000 jobs are filled. Veterans are a huge, huge part of Florida.
All right, we haven't heard yet from Don Green this morning, although we met him a couple of days ago. Don Green, a retired family physician in Massachusetts. How's your week going?
It's going very well. I second the motion and what everybody has said about the speeches. But I would also like to put a shout out to kind of speeches that have been going on in our morning breakfasts. They have been equally helpful in getting us fired up and ready to go. This morning we heard from Donna Brazil at our breakfast, and there wasn't a person there who wasn't tingling. And what pleased me most is she is coming to Massachusetts to campaign for Elizabeth Warren. And I thought Elizabeth Warren also did a great job in introducing herself to the national audience last night.
Yeah, tell us more about your takeaway from her speech yesterday.
Well, I've heard her talk several times before, and actually a lot of that speech was a speech she gave at the state convention in Massachusetts. But I think her main message is everybody's in, nobody's out. We need a level playing field in order to accomplish that. And she's going to use her expertise as somebody who has studied bankruptcy over a long period of time to try to bring that about. She also is the backer of all the other issues that Democrats care about. That is her main area of expertise, and that was the area that got us into trouble with this last recession. People playing roulette with other people's money and not following what I would call ethical capital.
Rick Dietz. Okay, Rick Dietz, there's a lot of consternation and concern here because, well, from local North Carolinians about the change in venue, because we're not going to see the president's speech in the big stadium tonight. He's going to be moving things into the arena, so some of the local folks who had tickets aren't going to be able to get in. How do you think that's going to play out? Are you concerned about that having a negative feel here, or do you think it'll still be a great night?
Well, I was just talking with a few folks who aren't going to be able. They were part of the community delegation. They won't be able to attend tonight. And they were in very good spirits. They've been able to participate in the caucus events and the convention throughout their time here already. Obviously, there's going to be some disappointment about that, and that's understandable. But it looks like looks like both the Democratic and Republican convention have been a victim of some interesting weather phenomena, and there's not a lot that we can do about that. But we can maintain the level of energy that we have. Certainly everybody that isn't able to be there in person is going to be able to watch, take home that message, and take it back to their constituents and their communities and run with it.
And Alison Morano, since you're from Florida, another battleground state like North Carolina, what do you think that the Democratic Party should do? Is there something that they should make up, or some kind of way that they can try to get those folks to have a positive experience, even if they can't come tonight?
Yeah, well, we've been pretty good. People have been understanding. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting right next to someone who flew in just to go tonight, and she's fine. You know, we brought her in last night. But what we've done is we've enlarged our watch parties. So we've taken over more of the hotel now and just started inviting everybody to make sure they get to these watch parties so that they can all just be together watching the speech. So everybody's been really, really good. It's always you always worry about that, but they totally understand. So.
And Tommy, are you going to go to the speech tonight?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you going to get it?
As a blogger, I also have media credentials, so I'll be able to walk around and get pictures to take back to Minnesota all over again.
All right, great. And I guess people are going to get there really early. Quiana, what's your game plan for tonight?
Get there pretty much as soon as the doors open, so that I can get a really good seat and just be ready. I'm so enthusiastic. And every time you get on the floor, you have people who are going from state to state, delegation to delegation, just talking about how excited they are about the president and how excited they are about the speech. And so I think it'll be a fabulous time tonight. I know I'll be surrounded by some of the best supporters in the world. So it'll be great. I'll be there as soon as I can.
Shawn Wooden, you're smiling. Are you also pumped up about tonight? And what are you smiling about in particular?
I am pumped up, and I love to see the enthusiasm of my fellow Democrats, and so I enjoy listening to that. I'm going to get there when the doors open as well, and tonight, we'll be reminded why we elected this president in the first place, and I have no doubt that the hall will be electrified. And looking forward to another 4 years, another 12 months, 24 months of job growth. I'm really looking forward to what this president has to say tonight.
And Shawn, before we let you go, give us a sense of what happens behind the scenes. We on C-SPAN we're airing gavel to gavel coverage, but we still can't be everywhere. So what's it like to be a delegate in a way that the rest of us just wouldn't know about?
Well, it's certainly great to have access to the floor and to go around. I visit with other delegations as well. It's a scramble for seats. Even the delegates for each state, they get filled up. Last night we had several prominent actors trying to sit with the Connecticut delegation. So that was very interesting, and eventually they had to move because there were so many people as the build-up to Bill Clinton came. It was an overflow crowd, and so it's interesting, it's exciting, and really looking forward to tonight.
Great. And Don, how about you? What are you most looking forward to about this evening?
Well, first, before we leave the subject of volunteers, I would just like to say something about some of their stories. They are staying in motels an hour away from the arena. And although disappointed, it doesn't dull their enthusiasm to work for this kind of thing. I met several young people last night. The other thing is you get to rub shoulders with a lot of the prominent politicians at least in my state and actually in other states that I wouldn't have had that opportunity before. And when you're in that convention hall, in the hall itself, you just absorb an energy that is a once in a lifetime moment that you will carry with you for a very long time. And that was very important.
Allison, did you stick around? Oh, go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, I'd like to add to the comments with respect to the volunteers. The hospitality in Charlotte has been absolutely outstanding. There are so many volunteers, and you pretty quickly figure out whether it's a bus driver, volunteers, and the people working. There's so many people that are not from Charlotte, but they have been absolutely marvelous in terms of the hospitality, the helpfulness, and so I've been very, very pleased with the people that have welcomed the Democratic Party to this city.
And Alison, did you stick around for all the roll call vote last night? You stayed to the bitter end?
No, we had to get out of there after a while, and I had to get back. We had to still do some stuff for today, and I think just about. And I did check. Every delegation was pretty much clearing out before after they were done, so I got out of there. But it was really exciting just to watch this. My favorite part was that these votes that you announce, we actually do collect, and they don't let you say how many you've gotten unless they've got it in writing from every single delegate. So in 24 hours, we were able to collect 300 signatures to nominate the president, which I was told was one of the top states in the country for fulfilling their entire delegation nomination vote. So that was, to me, that was a huge highlight, and it was exciting to be able to announce it.
Well, thanks to all of you for participating in our Google Hangout. Some of you are here at C-SPAN Studios in the basement of the convention center, our media work site. Others of you are at your hotel rooms, and you found quiet places to talk to us from. So thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Libby.